All right, hi, I'm Barry, and I'm happy to have Ted Rubin with me to converse about conversing. Hey, Ted.
How you doing? I just wanted to, there you go, a little tribute to Barry and, of course, a tribute to my daughter, University of Pennsylvania. She was just accepted early admission, so I want to give her a shout out because she worked her butt off and it paid off, and she's my hero. So that said. Now we can get going. I just have to do my little. She's my sponsor right now. She's paying the bills. So,
What do you think we're on TV or something? Congratulations. What's her name?
her name is Nikki Rubin.
Good for you, Nikki. All right, well, Ted, you know that I'm writing about and talking about interaction. Certainly, we're interacting. We met at a conference. You spoke about this. Your book is called Return on Relationships. You talked about, getting to know people, picking up the good old phone. On page 23 of your book, it says, building a social community around your brand depends on how well you attract people into conversation and how you interact with them and how good you become at what is now called relationship marketing. Come at me with that. Where are you coming from?
Well, what I'm talking about is good old-fashioned human-to-human interaction and making people feel like you actually care about them, that you're not just pushing out content that's on a topic that might educate them to better inform them to buy your product, but it's more about how do you add value to their lives. And value to their life might not necessarily be talking about your product. It could be talking about what they use their product for. It could be talking about their life. And most importantly, it is about them. It's not about you. It's about how you connect with them, how you speak to them. Look, this is no different than Dale Carnegie wrote in what I call the best social media book ever written, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And you might not realize, but I have a new book that's just coming out this month called How to Look People in the Eye Digitally. And that means exactly, but what it really means is looking at their profiles, going to their bios, reading the content they write, going to their Facebook pages, not worrying about how often they come to yours.
I have a presentation I give, and it's full of little idioms I picked up here and there. And one of the slides says, social media doesn't really connect us. And then it has a subhead that you wrote. And so, of course, I thank you for it, and you're accredited on it. It says something like, it's something about not counting your social media connections, making your social media connections count. Does that ring a bell?
Well, I'm sure it's something I've said. I think what we're talking about is that the platform is not the relationship itself, that you create the relationship. And too many people think clicking a button means building a relationship now. I mean, who back in the day, or even today, thinks that when you and I meet each other and shake our hand that we're friends? By shaking your hand, that is an opportunity, a door opener to connecting. That's saying to me, hi, how are you? Let's get to know each other. And it's no different than a click of a like button or a follow on Twitter or something like that. That's a door opener. And too many people are considering it the relationship itself. And what I'm trying to say with all these things is that you actually need to get to know the people. This is, I like to say that the best marketers were former great salesmen. Because good salesmen learn how to connect with people. They learn how to listen first before they talk. I'm not talking about any salesman, because most salesmen talk too much. I'm talking about the ones that know how to listen, and know how to listen not just with their ears, but with their eyes. Observation is listening. It's paying attention. It's walking into an office and seeing photos of somebody's kids, or that they're a skier, or that they like to fish, and knowing that that's a topic that can help them connect with that person.
Yeah, yeah. Or remembering what their daughter's name is and what she accomplished.
Or remembering what their daughter's name is, or remembering a daughter's birthday. Now, I'm the guy that back in the day used to write down everybody's birthday. And I used to put it into my date book, and every Christmas, while everyone took a week off, I would take my last year's date book, and I would go in and fill in all the birthdays. Because I was the guy that would call them up on their birthday or send them a card on their birthday. And then, of course, Facebook, and not just Facebook, but our smartphones, everything else, made it that people could put those in and then get alerted to it every year. And then Facebook sends out announcements every day of people that follow you and friends. So it became less of a special thing. So now I try to pay attention to kids' birthdays, to anniversaries, to things that aren't necessarily listed in social media that can set you apart when you connect with somebody and let them know that you remembered.
Pets' names?
Pets' names. There's another good one. Okay.
Yeah, I like pets. I wrote after that slide, I say, social media doesn't really connect us. Memories are what connect us, and that's exactly what you just talked about. I might have led the witness a little bit there, but yeah, I mean, you and I first shook hands in the lobby of a San Diego hotel. And we talked a little, right? It's much more meaningful than me liking something you wrote on Facebook.
And then we skip together. Which really, that can really cement a relationship, especially between two guys. So I like to say that it's not just memories, it's about moments in time. It's treasure those moments, find those moments, seek out those moments, whether it's with your kids, your friends, with consumers, with people that you try, with business partners, with anybody you're looking to interact and engage with. It's not about the big events. It's about those moments of connection.
Yeah. Now, I feel that the skip together thing went over everybody who's watching. So can you give us the little backstory there just so that makes some sense?
Well, absolutely. I'm a divorced dad. I had to fight to keep my kids in my life. And I was also left alone with two very young girls when I was with them alone. And like everybody else who has small children, they tend to bicker. And I was left with what I call the divorced dad car, that little convertible with the seats in the back that are way too close together. When you have two little girls that are only 2 years apart. And, they're pinching daddy. She's pinching me. She's touching me. My personal favorite, daddy, she's smelling me. Tell me where you go with that, right? And, when I was trying to resolve these situations, I started thinking about how do I do it when I'm with them on the playground or outside the house? And I realized that whenever they'd start bickering, I would take their hands and start skipping. And when someone skips, they can't be anything but happy. So I try to skip on stage to make the point, and I talk about how if you're having a bad day, get up from your desk, skip around your office. If it doesn't change your day personally, I promise it'll make everybody else in your office a lot happier. But more importantly, if you can make every interaction, if you can make your consumers and your prospects metaphorically skip with every interaction, you win. And that has to do with how you talk to them, when you talk to them, the content you produce, what you do with the content. And I like to say that the best content is conversation.
Yeah. Two responses to what you just said. One is, I thought it was banjos. Steve Martin said you can't sing a sad song with a banjo. So now it's skipping and banjos.
Exactly. Imagine if you could do both.
Yeah. Skipping with banjos with daughters that, stop touching me. I have two daughters 2 years apart.
Okay, so you know a little bit of where I'm coming from.
Yeah, they get along quite well, and they're teenagers now. But yeah, that's connective tissue, Ted. We have that in common.
There you go.
I'm going to quote you again, and I should mention that Catherine Rose deserves half credit. She co-authored this book.
Yes, she did.
If you have a team of employees handling your social responses, don't make them hide behind the brand logo when they interact with followers. Give them a voice and face. Now, isn't this a common problem now that we're doing social media, but we're doing it, cold and extracted from actually who we are?
Well, I think it also has to do with, it's not just about, some companies have tried to change this by putting initials after a tweet. Truth be told, most of those initials are so they can track it, not so much that it puts a human behind it because it's two initials, rather than a face. Maybe even on your Twitter page, put a face of all the different people that interact with their names. So if somebody gives me an initial, I can now go to that page and see who I'm dealing with. People, I hear this all the time. I hear this from marketing specialists, from brands. They say, nobody wants to be friends with a brand. I disagree with that. I think that most people out there do want to be friends, but they don't want to be friends with the brand logo. They want to be friends with the people at the brand. They want to say, I know a guy. Everyone wants to know a guy. Everyone wants to know somebody. They want to be connected. They want to feel like they have that relationship. So I think that's really, I think that's very important. And I think, it's not about creating personas. Personas are being created so you can think about how to market to a certain persona. It's not so you can be that persona. And I said persona. I should have said persona. I'm correcting myself now.
Yeah, Polisi, I just wrote a review of Epic Content Marketing, and one of the last pages of the book talks about how people don't talk about your logo and your tagline, right? You don't get into conversations about companies' taglines. You get into conversations about experiences you've had with the company. And I think, that has to involve people,
No, absolutely. But there is two sides to it. Don't get me wrong. I am not a disbeliever in traditional marketing. I think that working hand in hand, I believe that social marketing enhances all traditional marketing and customer service and any kind of connection with the consumer and retail sales. So I'm not saying it's one or the other. Advertisements are great. I could never be saying 2 all beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, and sesame seed bun if I didn't see the ads over and over again. I couldn't say when it absolutely positively has to be there and think of Federal Express. But the problem is Travel Express built this great idea and this great brand using traditional marketing, saying when it absolutely positively has to be there. But then they kind of disconnected from that with a lot of what they do with social. They don't answer people, they don't connect with people, they don't talk to people. They reach out, they do what I call campaign-based social, where they'll reach out and send you a gift in the mail, but then when you write to them to thank them, they don't even respond. And to me, that's where the disconnect comes, that it's all got to come together. It's got to be wrapped. The social has to be a shell around everything you do so that people feel more connected. They feel communicated with. JetBlue likes to say that if one person's complaining, they know there's at least another 150 complaining. So they answer those questions publicly so that everybody else can participate in that conversation. I call it participating vicariously. You don't have to necessarily be the person having the conversation, but someone that sees me as a brand communicating with you, Barry, as a person, and listens to the conversation or watches it, feels very much so that I'm going to treat them the same way I treated you if I treated you right or badly. And they do what I call participating vicariously, and the connection and the relationship is built that way.
That's JetBlue, you said? The airline?
Yes, it is.
So you think we're showing our age here, two bald guys with reading glasses and grown-up daughters, when we talk about two all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun? You think if we went down the street and said that to kids, they'd know what we're talking about?
Probably not, but that's okay because not everybody's trying to sell to kids. I mean, kids only buy certain things. A lot of people our age buy other things. And then, you're bringing up a good point about who we are in our age. What I try to explain to people, when I tell companies, whether it's a small business or a major brand, not to let a millennial be in charge of your relationship building. I'm not saying it because I don't think that they know how to do it. It's because they're just not well trained enough. You have to be, boomers are amazing at social when they take it seriously and they really jump into it. Why? Because they have relationship building experience. My daughter is now 18. She learned how to drive started driving when she was 17. She's a great driver. But I used to say to her, Nikki, you can't do what I do, because when I hit an intersection, maybe when I shouldn't be, or going too fast, and a car comes at me, I don't have to think about what to do. I automatically react. You have to first stop and think, therefore you are going to have an accident. It's the same thing with relationships. The younger you are, the less experience you have in diffusing difficult situations, in relating to people who you don't necessarily know how to relate to right offhand, in how to make people happy, how to make people sad, how to make people come, how to make people go. But when you get to a certain age like you and me, and I'm sorry I'm putting you in a category because I'm sure I'm a lot older than you, Barry, but I'm just talking about a certain level of maturity. You know how to build relationships, and that's why the strategy and the technique and the how-tos on the execution have to come from that position. Now, of course, there are always some people that are better at it at a younger age, but it takes time to learn how to do those things.
I love that. I've never heard that before, and I agree with that. I mean, I think there's some pushback amongst boomers because we're too old for that shit. We social media, that's for kids.
Look at some of the best strategists, practitioners, influencers out there. I would say that 90% of them in the marketing space are in their 40s, 50s, and above.
Yeah.
Because these are people that know how to build relationships. And, again, I'm not talking about the guy that makes a YouTube video that's funny and fun and gets 1 million people watching. I'm talking about the people that know how to execute these kind of things on a relationship of somebody's different than me. How do I connect with them? And that's another reason why I say salesmen are good at that. Because if you're a well-trained, really sharp and good sales guy, you can walk into any room and talk to anybody.
All right, let's wrap it up in the context of content marketing.
Sure.
The interactivity, obviously, social media marketing and content marketing are best friends attached at the hip, bedfellows, whatever you want to call it. How would you take it to content marketing in terms of bloggers and blogging? How do you put the @ sign there in blogging?
First of all, what I say is we have this opportunity. Look, this is the age of influence, where anybody can build a brand, affect change, make a difference, advocate for brands right from their own bedroom. And what that gives us the ability to do is to publish without the cost of publishing. So you can try different things every single day and watch people, listen to them, see what they react to. If you write about a particular topic and it gets people interested and engaged, why aren't you writing 5 more blog posts on that topic? Why aren't you taking that blog post and syndicating it everywhere, putting it on other people's blogs, putting it on all your social media platforms? And why aren't you publishing it again and again? Not just once. Content shouldn't just come out once, or take it and repurpose it. Write a 5-paragraph blog post, publish it a few months later as 1 paragraph, then another paragraph. That's a number of the things you could do. And then another thing is that this does not have to be complicated. I publish my socks every day, and it creates more conversation than any of the well-thought-out marketing posts that I write, because it's a way to connect, and it gives people an easy way to engage me. They don't have to worry about that they understand the article. They don't have to worry about, am I smart enough to make a comment about it? They can say, hey, I love your socks, or wow, what's Ted wearing today? And then if you notice, a lot of it's built around where I'm going, what I'm doing, the people I'm engaging with. So content can be as easy as Instagram. I love Instagram, and I tell people that are new to social to start at Instagram, open up your other accounts, but syndicate from Instagram, because content is as easy as this. Click, 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 click. I just got 5 pieces of content. Put a few words around it, you got content for the next couple of days. It's just not that hard, and I think people are overcomplicating it, because it's about getting people to interact with you more than anything. When it comes to content marketing, again, if you're looking to be a journalist, if you're looking to be an author that sells books at a level that earns you a living, that's a different purpose. That means you have to have something that's maybe a little bit more intellectually stimulating, that gets people engaged for the long term. But when it comes to content marketing, when it comes to brands or you as a personal brand, it's what brings people coming back every day to engage with you. And remember, one of the reasons Seth Godin's blog is so successful, besides the fact that he's brilliant, because let's not take that away, but it's the fact that he writes short-form content that people can absorb so quickly that they come there every day because they know they're in and out, and they walk away with something valuable.
I'm embarrassed to admit I didn't know about the socks thing. Where do I find your socks? Instagram?
Well, if you go to Instagram, I have a hashtag hub, Ted Psaki. That's hashtag TEDSOCKIE.
Okay.
I also have a Tumblr, I Heart Socks. And I have a Pinterest page, which is probably my favorite place, which is also on my Pinterest following. And you can see I'm pretty active in Pinterest as well.
All right. I did not know. I'm headed there now, and I know where you're headed. You got the blue skies behind you, and you mentioned before we started recording, you're going to take those socks off and hit the beach, right?
That's the plan right now.
All right, right on. Well, thanks for joining me today, Ted. It was fun talking to you.
Barry, I really appreciate you asking me to join and being a little flexible when I was running a little late. Great talking to you.
No problem. Have a great day.
Goodbye.